Hello and welcome. It's Tracy Daviero with CAVA, and we are doing our monthly expert interviews. This is our first interview back this fall, and we are talking about email marketing today with Kathy Colaiacovo. Kathy is a Canadian VA success story. She started her business in 2008, and in less than 2 years grew it to encompass a multi-VA team with more than 10 VAs working for her. She speaks all over the world about online marketing and social media. Her online networking and marketing skills skyrocketed her business. She has clients all over the world and has given her many huge opportunities, including expert interviews like this one in newspapers, radio, and TV and magazines. Kathy was also the first Canadian elected to the CAVA as their president. Kathy also works with Bob Proctor, a worldwide leader in personal development field, and the man behind the movie The Secret. A large part of Kathy's business growth is due to her presence online and email marketing. And I'm super excited to have Kathy here with us today. Kathy is my sounding board and basically my expert anytime I have a question about anything online, because she really has made that a huge part of her business. She started working with social media and she's just blown it up from there, and she stays really current with everything that comes up, and she's a wealth of information. So I'm really excited to have you here today, Kathy. We are talking about the 5 essential steps to build an email list. Welcome.
Thanks, Tracy, and I'm so excited to be one of your experts with CAVA. And hopefully today I will be able to get everybody some good information about building an email list, which I do believe is a key backbone of any business online, including a virtual assistant business.
That's awesome. It's true. And you know, you've built your business very much, like you say, by email marketing and being online. So I'm just going to let you go ahead. I may stop you occasionally to ask you questions, but I know that you're an amazing online teacher. So I'm just going to let you go and fly. Okay.
Thank you. Perfect. So first thing I just want to let everybody know, feel free to connect with me online. I'm Pepperit_marketing, MKTG, on Twitter. And if you put a tweet out there with the hashtag Pepperit or CAVA, I'll be watching for those over the next bit, and I will be able to connect with you online. And you can also find me at facebook.com/pepperitmarketing. And I'm always open and willing to answer questions and help people when you post a question on my Facebook business page. And I'll give you a hint. Part of the reason why I do that is because it is free marketing online. So make sure you encourage people to do that with you as well. So what you can expect today from our session, I'm trying to really make sure that you understand some of the basics you need to have in place to do email marketing and to do list building in particular. And I'm going to share one of the biggest mistakes that people make with their lead magnet, which is also called your free offer, your free download, your free gift, whatever you may want to refer to it as. And then I'm going to share with you the action step that almost everyone misses when it comes to building your email marketing list. And this is huge. I think I rarely run into people that start to work with me that haven't missed this particular step. So I want to make sure no one here misses that. Now, before we get into the core of what I'm going to teach you today, I want to really talk and give you a bit of background on list building and what it actually is, just to make sure we're clear about it. If you look at a definition, it's really the act of increasing the number of people who subscribe to your email marketing list. And I know a lot of VAs out there will be going, well, why should I really care about that for my business? It's an argument that I hear a lot, and not just from VAs, I'll let you know. But I will tell you, you can hate it all you want, and many people hate email marketing. They hate newsletters. They don't want to see any more come to their inbox. But the truth of the matter is most online sales happen from emails. And Tracy has a lot of experience in this department working for herself and her clients, and I will bet she'd be willing to weigh in on this, because the truth of the matter is sales online typically are not happening from tweets or Facebook posts. Those posts are getting people to someone's email list, and it's within those emails where most of the sales happen. Tracy, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree that, you know, a lot of people think that, you know, it's one of those things that if you build it, they will come, right? And they expect everything to happen on a sales page. And frankly, it just doesn't. I mean, the follow-up sequences that you put in place and newsletters, even newsletters, that's where people get to know, like, and trust you, like that big, you know, that's the big thing in marketing. for
Yeah,
sure.
it's huge. And so that's why I really think list building is a big piece of your marketing for any business that you have. And list building in particular is a really big part of the marketing funnel. And when you look at the marketing funnel of the old days, which typically had four sections, you made people aware of the business. They might consider doing business with you. They might evaluate what you have to offer, what your products and services are, and then they would purchase it. This is partly what's called the conversion marketing process, is taking people through a place of where maybe they're a website visitor and then they become a browser. So they read your blog and read some of your information. Then they might sign up for your newsletter list. That's where they become a lead. And then those leads convert people to customers. So you've got to understand that the part that email marketing plays in this conversion marketing process is huge. We want to move people down the path of become from a visitor, where they're just finding out about who you are, to turning them into a customer. And so what email marketing and list building does is it gets more information into those potential customers in those consideration and evaluation phases. So that's where you're looking at, you want to get information out to people so that as they're becoming more aware of you and looking at what you have to offer, you're giving them more information about it. You're not just assuming, as Tracy said earlier, if you build it, they will come. You have got to get in their face and explain it to them. And that's where email marketing comes into place. And that's why list building is so important, because the list building helps you find and reach the leads, who then can turn into prospects, who will then turn into clients. Now, not every single person, prospect or lead, will ever turn into a client. I don't think I know of any business where that's the case. But it is the way to get them through that path from becoming a website visitor or just a visitor to your business and learning about you, and turning them into a client or a customer. And one of the biggest arguments I hear from all my time, with networking within VA associations, whether it's CAVA or IVA, I always hear people saying that VAs don't really need an email list. That if I have a virtual assistant business, I don't need to email market. And I have to tell you, that's one of the biggest myths that I think is out there. I know personally for me, my email marketing and my newsletters have brought more business into my business. I've had clients that will see my newsletters or email information, and they'll look at it and then they'll contact me because they've gotten some information in my newsletter, and they'll be asking more questions, and that actually turns into signing them up for more business. And I don't know, Tracy, if you want to weigh in on that, because I know that you've probably had some similar experience where something as simple as a newsletter out to your clients, even your whole list, but where your clients get it, they'll contact you and ask for more information.
Absolutely. One of the things that happens, well, first of all, VAs don't need an email list. It's almost a crazy notion, because one thing that VAs often forget is that they're a business owner, right? And so they have to run their business like a business. It's not, oh, well, VAs don't need a newsletter. All business owners need newsletters or need email lists. They definitely need that kind of thing to stay in touch. But to your point about sending your clients a newsletter, oftentimes we just get into the daily, sort of grind of working with them. And a lot of my clients, they end up not knowing what I'm specializing in, the things I'm moving to. And if you can keep them in touch with that kind of thing, new things that you're learning, or new services that you're providing, if that doesn't come into your daily conversations with them, then that's a really good place to showcase it, and they can maybe make some changes to their business, and you can grow your relationship together.
Exactly. And that's why I say that statement about VAs not needing an email list is a huge myth.
Mm-hmm.
I find in more cases than not, it's really not something people want to do, so they find an excuse not to do it.
For sure.
And the reality is, I've gotten tons of business from my email marketing. And one of the things that I do, now I do a regular newsletter every week now, but prior to that, I didn't do one every week because I was having a hard time coming up with the content. So what I did do was I was doing a newsletter twice a month, I believe, and I was sending one special client only tip and trick kind of email to my clients. And I sold it as a bonus piece of my service packages. You got part of, you became part of Kathy's client only newsletter, and it would share information. And a lot of times I would put into it things that would help them work better with me, things that if they knew how to do it or could be informed about it would help them do more with my business that I do for them already. So not only could I help them, become a better client for me in some ways, but they also were learning more about some of the other services I offer, because not every client did sign up for everything that I have to offer. So then I would get questions about that. But the biggest thing was I can put into a proposal, some of the benefits you get by signing up for a retainer package with us is inclusion in Kathy's client only newsletter list.
That's really cool. That's a great idea.
And it was a really easy bonus offer to add in there, and it wasn't anything extra for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I really do think it is important. And when we talk about these 5 essential steps, you have to really consider as a VA that it is important for you to have an email marketing system set up and build an email list. So when I talk about the 5 essential steps to building your email list, of course, we start with number 1, you've got to have an email marketing system. Then you want to make sure you have a lead magnet, which is that free report or free offer that you can give people to sign up for your newsletter list or your email marketing list. And you're going to have that sign up on your lead generation page, which is the 3rd essential step to building your email list. Then you want to make sure you're having calls to action out there so that people know you have this page where they can sign up for the lead magnet and get in your email marketing system. So you see how they all sort of go back to one another. And then the last part of it is you've got to do promotion and marketing of that lead magnet that you have to offer. And so essentially what you're promoting whenever you're doing your marketing is the actual lead magnet number 2, but using 4, 3, and 1 to make that all happen. So those are the 5 key steps, and I'm going to break them all down for you a little bit more here as we move along. So number 1 is the email marketing system. You really want to have this set up. It is a way that you can communicate on your terms and deliver the information right to someone's inbox. You can have a blog on your website all you want, but you're really going to have to market it, and you're going to have to assume somebody clicks that link and comes to the blog to read it. This way, when you use an email marketing system, you send it right to someone's email. No, not every single person will open the emails, but you've done a more intense service that they can see that more so than they might if it was something you just put out on your blog. And then within the email marketing system, you have your ways of sending the emails that get out there. Those are the key things to building relationships and building the trust in you and what you have to offer and your expertise. And they really and truly are a way to reach potential clients. And we'll get into that a little bit more. So a couple of the reasons that you want to be using an email marketing system. Number 1, you've got to stay CAN-SPAM compliant. And these rules apply to email marketing all over the world. There are some extra special rules in Canada, but the reality is if you use an email marketing system, you're going to be using the tools that are set up and will keep you compliant with all the rules, including our special Canadian rules. Mm-hmm. To be honest, people kind of freak out a lot more about them when it came out a couple of years ago, but they're not much more in-depth than really the general rules for everyone everywhere. It's just, I think they sort of did a little bit of over marketing on it and got people really concerned and worried about it. The reality is if you're using an email marketing system, you're going to stay compliant. And the other big things about using these systems are the automation they have set up, the ability to have forms put onto your website, and that's the way people look at something on your website and go, oh, I can enter my name and email and sign up. So the automation that happens with all of that and the ability to connect to your website, as well as getting reports and statistics. People that send emails by PDF only or just by sending them out through their own private emails, you don't know who's opening those. You don't get any stats. You don't know if they clicked on a link that you put in there. So you really want to make sure you're using an email marketing system to make this work and happen for your business. Now, I'm just going to talk very quickly about a couple options. There are starter systems out there that I like to refer to them as. MailChimp and Aweber are two of the lower priced ones. There are options like Constant Contact, Eye Contact. I use Constant Contact for one client. I used it for myself when I started out. I would never use it for anybody, and I don't recommend it because their automation isn't as useful as some of the other ones. My number one choice when you're starting out is definitely Aweber. You can get into that for about $250 a year US because they charge in US fees. And I prefer that over MailChimp, which has a free option. However, MailChimp is a little clunkier when you're doing broadcasts and newsletters. And also, you run the risk if somebody is in several different lists in your MailChimp system, because you can't always use their segregated groups the way they think that you can. So you could end up, if somebody's on several different lists, that they're getting multiple copies of your newsletter or emails when you send them out. And I really find that just reduces your credibility. So that's why I choose Aweber over MailChimp. I don't know, Tracy, if you have any comments on that.
Yeah, I use MailChimp myself for my Your VA Mentor stuff. And that's one of the things is that you're constantly trying to manipulate everybody into a list so that you can send one broadcast and make sure that people get it. But then, if they sign up for one offer, then, you're trying to put them on your newsletter list as well. And so it is kind of clunky that way.
Yeah.
I like it because I think it's simple to use, but I use Aweber a lot for a couple of my clients. And I've always loved the option of adding everybody, sending to all the
Right.
lists and then having them just make sure that only one goes out, because I'm on a lot of lists where I get multiple emails. And every time I see it, I think you can fix that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you're right. It's about credibility and just thinking, it makes me want to unsubscribe even if I'm interested in the information. So yeah.
Well, and for me, the kicker was the week that I got, I think, 2 or 3 emails from a couple different people saying, I'm getting multiple copies of your newsletters. I really like them, but can you make the multiple copies stop?
Yeah.
And so that's where you lose your credibility. And I think too, 4 years ago, Aweber was a very different system than it is now.
Yeah.
4 years ago, I would have chosen MailChimp, no problem, over Aweber.
Yeah.
But Aweber's moved into more drag and drop builders and easy options like that, which I think a lot of people like in MailChimp. So I think now with the changes that they've done, it's definitely a much better choice for it, if you ask
And
me.
one of the things I'll say, and this is one of the things you taught me, is Aweber's support is second to none. They have amazing
Oh,
support.
it's
And I know you told me
really
that.
great.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I use them
Yeah.
all the time. And not to say that, you need them to do different things, but they're very helpful. If you have any questions, they walk you right through anything that you need to do. So it's really cool.
They are. And with MailChimp, they have a new thing now that unless you have a paid account with them,
Mhm.
you can only get email support. No
Yeah,
chat.
lots of companies have that, as a matter of
Yeah,
fact. It's very difficult
exactly.
to get
Yeah.
live support. So
Yeah.
yep.
So some of the other email marketing systems that are out there, Drip is a new one that's getting more attention now. It's sort of a mid-sized system. It's going to be coming in. It's probably around $60 a month, and it actually is going to have a lot of the functionality that people like of Infusionsoft, but it's not as intense to get into and set up or as costly. Infusionsoft and Entreport are kind of the elite email marketing systems, I like to refer to them
Yeah,
as.
that sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, and partly because of their monthly price, you're looking at a minimum of $250 US a month to use them, plus setup fees. But they definitely have their place for certain businesses. Do I think they're a place for a VA starting out, or truly any business just starting out new? No, definitely not. I think there's other options, but like I said, they certainly have their role for certain businesses. So if you're new and you're starting out, I would say head to Aweber. That's probably going to be the best option for you to grow until you need to get into something deeper like Infusionsoft or Entreport. So getting back to the 5 essentials, number 2 is your lead magnet. So this is that free offer that you're going to give people for them giving up their email address to you. So it's kind of the bribe, some people call it, the free report, the free download. It could be, it doesn't have to be a physical item. It could be a webinar. So there's all sorts of different things that a lead magnet could be, but essentially its role is to pre-qualify people to work with you. Because when you want to create a lead magnet, you want something that typical clients who work with you would be interested in. And I like to help my clients make sure that we create a lead magnet that ultimately leads to a service or a product that they have to work with them. So now this is where I typically get, people saying, okay, well, as a VA, what would I have to offer people? Tracy, I'm sure you've heard that as well in your VA mentor business.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What would I give people? Well, it's easy. You give them things. I've got a couple slides here, slides with some samples. So some of these are clients, some of these are mine. So one of the free offers that I have is 5 key pieces to include in your lead magnet. So most people that are looking to work with me want to start email marketing or do it or have us do it with them. So I give them some information to take them to the next step working with me. I have a webinar that I was doing on October 11th here I was doing a free session online helping people create a lead magnet that attracts clients. So those, again, it's another step into working with me. One of my clients is a dietitian, so she has this report, 51 Tips to Staying Healthy in a Sitting World. Anybody
That's
looking to
good
work
for
with me,
VAs.
I know, it's actually a really good one. If you want to get that, it's at trianglediet.com. And so Tracy's a dietitian, a nutritionist, and they offer personal training. So this is ideal for when you look at what her services are to where they want to get to. Down on the right here, this is one of my Canadian clients, Kathy Shaughnessy. So she's an ICF Master Certified Coach, and she mentors other coaches that are going through the ICF coaching program. So she has a free offer of a mentor coaching journal. So it's things that you would use and how you can keep track of your hours and other things like that that are going to lead to that. Now she offers coaching services with these people, and with any coach that she works with, she actually puts together a mentor coaching journal to keep track of. So when you look at these different free reports and these different lead magnets, they're all moving people to the next step working with the person offering it. So as a VA, that's what you want to look at. What's your top service? What do you typically like people to have in place in order to work with you? And then what could you make as some free offer, some lead magnet that puts people into working with you in the next step? And Tracy, I don't know I know you have several free offers as well. Is that how you have yours set up?
Yeah, absolutely. Like for me, it's common questions, right? And so things that people are always asking, if you're constantly responding to the same question from your audience, that's a really good thing to include in a lead magnet. One of the ones that is really popular for me is how much should I charge? Everybody needs to know that all the time. So I have my rate calculation package that helps VAs figure out, what they need to charge in order to make their business successful to the level that they want it to be. And that's exactly what it is. But I love the way that you've laid these out to show that if you're going to work with someone, you can also bring people in to have something prepared, so that it makes it easier for them to work with you. I love that. That's a great suggestion.
It's one of the ways that when we do because I do an email marketing setup service for people. And so we help them plan out that lead magnet. And it's a key piece in making sure you've got something, one of the things that I said earlier is a lead magnet pre-qualifies people. Well, if somebody, when you look at Tracy, if somebody's interested in becoming healthier in a sitting world, that they're probably interested in improving their nutrition and their diet.
That's right.
So they're an ideal client for her. So, and that's really how it works.
Yep. So as a VA, if you provide newsletter services, then you could bring somebody in to the 5 essential pieces of a really good newsletter.
Yep,
or if
exactly.
you do websites, you could say the 5 essential pieces that you need to make sure that your website is blah blah blah. It's a really great suggestion, and it helps you to help them put the pieces in place so that they can continue to work with you. That's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, there is one huge mistake that a lot of people actually make with a lead magnet. And so I'm going to test you, Tracy. Do you know what that is?
I'm going to say that they let people know how to do something.
No.
Oh, okay.
It could be one of the mistakes, but I will say it's not the biggest one.
Okay.
The biggest one is giving away the farm for free.
Oh, well, it's a little bit of what I was saying. So basically, some people include everything in the in the lead magnet,
yes.
and then they don't need to hire you, is what I was kind of getting at.
Oh, okay, yes. So if that was...
But I like the way you word it. It's awesome.
So, but what I actually mean by giving away the farm for free is giving it as a free download right on the website. Click this, you get the PDF.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So when I look at it is, the biggest mistake people do make is giving it away. So a lot of clients that I'll work with will have these free resources. And so you can click here and you can download this PDF or this ebook or whatever they have to offer as a lead magnet, but they're not collecting the email
Oh
address.
my gosh, why not?
It's huge. And actually, to be honest, you want to know why they're not?
No.
Because they don't have an email marketing system to do
Right,
it.
right. Yeah.
That's why. And so the worst thing about doing this, although I will say I've met a lot of people that have this system, but they still weren't doing it. And the reason that it's a huge mistake is because people are probably downloading it, but you have no idea who they are. They're now Mr. and Mrs. Anonymous out there, and you have no clue of who it is. And that's why that email marketing system is so important, because it will actually not only offer the way to have the sign up forms on the website on a lead generation page, but it's the tool that's actually going to deliver that lead magnet and keep track of all the information.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make sure that if you are putting together a lead magnet, that you're not just going to give it away. Some people like to do it as a way to have, a free this and a free that all over the website so people like it. I think that's a great idea, but I wouldn't give any of it away unless you're collecting an email address.
Right.
Because if you do, every time somebody downloads that, you've missed a list building opportunity. And the only way you're going to build your email list is by collecting those names and emails. So you've got to make sure that you're putting a system in place. And that's where it's going to go, is on to this lead generation page. And that is the page where people can sign up, get on your email list, they enter their name and email, and then they get that lead magnet that you've promised them. Now, some people refer to these as squeeze pages, landing pages, sign up pages, opt-in pages. They all have the same purpose. Their purpose is where people can enter their name and email and get that lead magnet from you. And some of the basics of a lead generation page, you want to keep these really as short and sweet as you can. So you want to have some sort of pre-headline and then a headline with benefits, something to catch their attention so that they understand what this free offer is. Sometimes you want an image. It may not always be something that you have or want and have in place. If there's a deadline, so for instance, if there's webinars or a special offer that ends on a certain date or a replay of an event, you want to have that deadline in there so people know that there's a date to take action by. You want to have a sign up box that stands out. It may be something where they click a box and the form pops up, or it might be a box that's right there with the name and email into it. So you want to have that in there as well. And then you want to consider having the legal and disclaimer information. And the reason that I say that is if you're looking to market that lead generation page with any Facebook ads, one of the things they do look for is to make sure you have a privacy policy and a disclaimer that you're not going to give away their email address or sell it or anything like that. So those are really the 6 basics of a standard lead generation page. And I'm going to show you a couple examples here. So this was the one that I had for the creating an effective lead magnet for your business. So it's very basic. It has, some highlight information in the headlines, subheadlines. This button here is the button where they could click and a pop-up would open for the enter name and email. You can see that I've got the date and the time on there. The picture that I've got is actually me. Sometimes a lead generation page will have the actual picture of, if it's an ebook or something like that. And whoops, and sorry, my finger's sliding around here. And then it's got some of the benefits of why you want to sign up for it, as well as, how much time do we have left before this starts type of thing. So those are some of the things that we would put in a lead generation page for, like a webinar, which could be your lead magnet. This is one that I have for a free report. So you can see I've got the image over here of what it is, and then the top 7 factors to networking online, and you can attract new clients by following these marketing tactics. I've got my disclaimer information down here. This is actually, you can't tell here, but there was a link to my website, so if people wanted to get there. And then you've got the click here for instant access, and that would be a pop-up to open that up. I use Lead Pages. It's a tool in a system to do all my landing pages, my lead generation pages, my webinar signups, all of them. So they have neat pop-up options. So instead of having a space where it's, name, enter, email, enter, and then the submit button, which should never say submit, it should say send me my great information today. So that's another option. If you're doing, a basic setup on a website page, you have the option to get the form from your email system to do that. I just do it in a different way for me. And one of the things that, if you notice, Tracy, I'm just going to go back here for a second to show this webinar one, and then this is a free report or type of lead magnet page. They both have something in common, and it's that there is only one action to take on that page, and that's to get the name and email entered. If you're going to have a lead generation page, it shouldn't be on a website with a sidebar down the side with other things that can interfere. It really should have just that basic information I shared in order that you can keep it as short and sweet as possible. And so that ultimately the only action is a very focused action for them to take. They enter their name and email and get that lead magnet you promised them. Plus, when we get into element number 5 here, I'm going to explain why that's so important as well. So, essential number 4 are calls to action. You need to have calls to action out there. They are basically, when you look at them, they're an image or a line of text or a button that prompt your visitors and leads and customers who are seeing them to take action. And it could be in an email, it could be on a blog, it could be in a social media post, it could be on your website. But calls to action are key. They are the things that are going to take people down the path to that lead generation page to sign up. So that's what's really important about having this element in place, is because you've got to be telling people that they can do this. The reason why I say most online sales happen from emails is because in those emails, there's a call to action. Now, some of you are probably on this call because you got the CAVA email that said there was an event, one of Tracy's first events now that she's taken over as the new owner of CAVA, and she had a call to action in there, a link to the events page where you could get the information to show up here. That's one sample of a call to action. And there are lots of different ways you can do them. I've gathered a few samples here. So this one at the top would be one that I would have on a blog post. So it's a little bit of a recap and then giving some information. And then the Ultimate Marketing Master List is actually a link that takes people to that lead generation page. Right in the middle of my website on the home page, up until I had this webinar going on, there was a spot where it was a big image, and it was basically, learn how to do this and click here to sign up. And when they sign up, that would take them to the lead generation page for that particular webinar. I have this one over here for the Ultimate Marketing Master List and Content Planner. This is one I have on the sidebar when people come into an inside page on my website, so they can click the image and the pop-up opens to enter their name and email. These are little buttons that I have that I'll put on blogs that will take people to one of my other free offers. And again, it could be either a link to the lead generation page, or it's just the form that pops up, because I do that with the lead pages that I use. And then this is one on a lead generation page. So it's, click here for free instant access. You'll note that none of these say the word submit. I really want to encourage you, when you're setting up your opt-in forms through your email marketing system, that you look to how you can change the wording on those buttons. Nobody likes to submit to anything. Okay, well, most people don't, I'm just going to say. Sorry, you know me, Tracy, I can't help it. But you really don't. Submitting is not a nice word. You want, send me my free report. Give me free instant access. You want something that's really action-based on these buttons as opposed to the word submit. And that's really key to making calls to action work. And a lot of times you want to, you'll even note that I'll say on a lot of things on mine, it will actually say where the form is. Enter your best email address below, or enter your name and email. And it's because the way people work, when they're reading that, they actually start to think about clicking to type in their name and email because they're reading it. So you want to make sure that you have good calls to action, because that is going to help you with the list building as well. And I make sure that I have them on everything. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit too. So there is an action step that most people miss with their email marketing. Tracy, you want to make a guess at this one?
Oh, you know what? I've been trying to think about this one since you said it off the top, and I can't think of what it would be. I'm hoping I don't do it.
It's actually what essential number 5 is: marketing your
Oh.
own stuff.
Hmm.
It is one of the biggest things that people miss. They get the lead magnet, they get the lead generation page, and they actually forget to market the whole dang thing. And
Right. It's another case of
hilarious.
you put it there, and if people show up, then they'll see it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Oh, geez,
Kevin
I
Costner
do
is
that.
the only one that can build something and they will come. Kevin Costner has the power. No one else does. We all have to market our own stuff. And it's huge. When I go back, I talk to people who are missing the boat on their email marketing. They've got everything set up and it's not working. So first thing I'll do is I'll go out and look, okay, where, I'll look at their social media content. I'll look at their newsletters. They're not even telling anybody about their lead magnet. So it's never going to build a list if you don't promote and market it. You've got to be sharing links to that lead generation page all the time. Marketing the lead generation page is huge, and it's a big, huge piece that people miss all the time. And so what you're marketing sometimes might be the call to action, or it might be the link to the page, but you would do it by making a call to action. So some of the most common places where you would be marketing these calls to action and getting things out there would be on blogs. Take a look at my website. Every single blog on my website has a call to action of some sort or another, and more than one generally. Newsletter articles, same way we got onto this session here today with you guys. You read the newsletter from CAVA, you click the link. Social media updates, email signatures, social media profiles. With social media profiles, I like to tell people, forget that you have a homepage. You promote and you enter your lead generation page as the URL in your about areas on your social media profiles. Send them to that lead magnet first before the homepage. Website links in anything that you have out there, business cards, marketing materials. You should always be marketing that lead generation page. And that's the piece of when you look at content production and formulas, the sales part is something that you have to do. This is my secret success formula for content in marketing. Business should be 50%. Persona should be 20 to 30 of what you put out there. So that's more about you and making you real to people. And sales should be 20 to 30 as well. And it's the sales piece that people miss a lot. They miss marketing their own stuff. They miss putting content out there that says, hey, if you would like to know how to create a lead magnet, click here and sign up for this free webinar. If you don't do stuff like that, people are never going to know you have it to offer. So just to give you a couple samples, this was a post that I went on my Facebook page about this event. So it tells them a little bit about it, sends a little note there. This was another one that I had on Twitter. We've got an image with it. Tell people, stop spinning your wheels, create a free offer that builds and grows your email list, and the link to the sign up page, the lead magnet page for that webinar. You've got to make sure you're promoting and marketing anything that you have to offer, because that's how you're going to build your email list. And if you don't market it, nobody else will. And don't forget your email signature. I copied this image right from my email signature. Right on the bottom, it tells people underneath my name. And this email signature goes on every email I send out. Doesn't matter if I'm emailing my mom, my aunt, my cousins, friends, it's on there no matter what, because you never know when somebody might look at that, and maybe a friend of yours has a business and they're looking to do something. So you have to always assume that people would be able to share your information. You're not going to oversell it all the time. And I mean, it's just in your email signature, so it's not it's an overpowering part of what you're putting out there, but if it's another spot where you can market it. And so that's a piece that most people miss, that action step of actually promoting their own stuff. And I think, Tracy, that's, you were saying that's something that you're probably a little bit guilty of. I think most people are. And the way that I test it is when I start working with a client, the first thing I do is I look back at their marketing and I actually count up the last 10 things that they've put out on every social media channel or newsletters.
You've done that to me,
I know
so
I've
yeah,
done it too.
it's not fun. I'll
It's
tell you when you
not.
start to look. But that's what's so good about Kathy is she can look at this stuff and just know, because there are steps that you need to include. There are definitely a lot of things that you need to consider, and they're simple, but being able to have you look at them and go through them is awesome.
Yeah, you have to do them. You have to. So a couple ways that we can look at doing this is I have three easy to implement strategies for social media and list building marketing to help you with this. Number one, you need to go pick an email marketing system to use if you haven't done that already. It's really important that you do this piece. You can't do any of the lead generation and the list building without this base system at all. And I know that in the CAVA group or my Facebook page, if you have questions about it, post them there. There's other people in all those areas that will help you answer and figure out what's the best system for you. Then you want to look and create a lead magnet. So this is another example of one of my clients. Sonia is actually a communications coach. So she helps people improve presentations and their presence on stage doing TED Talks or other presentations. And so she's got an offer of 7 tips to creating an engaging presentation. So that leads directly into working with her. Start thinking about what you could do and what you could put in place for yourself in order to take people to the next level of working with you. And then strategy number 3 is set up a planning calendar for your marketing. I used to have a business card that actually said social media is just a word without a plan. And it really is. Marketing and social media don't do anything unless you have a plan. So I do have a little bonus for everybody. I have a tool that I created. It's my #1 marketing tool, and you've seen a couple hints on it inside here. It's called my Ultimate Marketing Master List and Content Planner because I needed a nice, long, catchy name. And it really is a very simple tool, but it's very effective. You can download it at pepperitmarketing.com/CAVA. And what it is a spreadsheet, I will warn you. But it helps you focus on your goals and the content that you're putting out there. It gives you a place to store all your information, your content. It can be used by a team of people. We put these into Google Docs all the time. I use them with every client that we do this with. And it's a way for you also to know what's been posted and done and not. That's one of the beauties about using this with the team is that if somebody on the team was sick or out unexpectedly, anyone else can jump in and understand where they're at with it and what they're doing with it. And the other thing about it is it helps keep you on track and save time. I said the third step that I wanted you to do was to set up a planning calendar for your marketing. That's what this will help you to do. Because what it does is it puts a spot, it has a section and one tab where you basically plan out for the year. Now you don't have to do the whole year all at once, but it does help you. And when you follow this, then you keep on track with your marketing. And then you know what kind of content you have to market the lead magnet and to get people out there. And I'll tell you, I did a little experiment with somebody in last December and January, and he basically let me take over his social media for a couple months, and we've put into place the foundations that you need to do email marketing and list building and social media marketing. We used the planner for everything that we did, and some of the changes that he saw by having this focused look on it was things like increasing his Facebook and Twitter connections by 14 and 11%. We didn't even focus on YouTube and LinkedIn, but they went up as well. We also saw huge changes on his website. More pages were being viewed. People were staying on there longer, that he had way more website visits. and new visitors were there. And it's because we were doing element number 5. We were making sure we marketed things. One of the things that happened as well is his email list grew by huge numbers in just 60 days. And it was because his 2 landing pages, his lead generation pages, had a huge increase in traffic, and they had a huge increase because we were marketing it. And one of the things Steve had said to me when we were, looking at this, he had people that were helping him out before, and he used Infusionsoft. So in Infusionsoft, there's the number, Tracy, you probably know this number well.
Mm-hmm.
You go up and when you log in, right there in the dashboard, it tells you how many new signups you've had in the last 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was his kicker as to whether or not this was working, because we were having about 4 times the previous numbers than what he had when I wasn't doing it. Like after we took over, that number shot up to about 4 times what it had been before.
Amazing.
Yeah, and really and truly it became by using the planner to put those 5 essential steps into place was how we were building his email list. It was huge what the difference was. I was actually shocked at what the results were, because I'd never done a full experiment where somebody let me, sort of have full control over everything.
Right. Yeah.
And it was really amazing to watch, and it's a really great case study that I now have.
And I love the analytics. I think that's really important to, look at when we're talking about why should a VA have an email list or, do list building or anything like that. Look at those numbers again that Kathy put up. These are the reasons, and percentages are really important. It doesn't matter if you don't need to grow a list of 5,000 people if you only want to have, 10 clients all the time, but you want to have quality actions taking place in all of those things.
Yeah.
And those analytics are an excellent place. The percentages are the same for everyone, right? You can have 100 people on your list, you can have 300, it doesn't matter, but you're targeting these people. The work that you're putting into it is giving you return on investment, and it's very, very important.
Exactly.
Yep.
And just even if you're doing it for yourself, knowing what the changes are for you, and knowing and finding out if people clicked up for this because of that email or because of a social media post, it's huge in knowing what the results are.
Yeah. Awesome.
So as a little recap for today's session, hopefully you understand the basics you need to have in place to do the email marketing, those 5 essentials. And everybody will now understand the biggest mistake people make with their free offer, with their lead magnet. Don't give it away without collecting an email. And the action step that everyone is often missing is marketing that lead magnet. Get out there with some calls to action and make sure you market that lead generation page where people can sign up for the lead magnet. If you're not doing that, you are not going to build your email list numbers, and you're not going to potentially find those new clients that you're looking for. And so that's everything that I have for my session today. I always have to throw in my Nova Scotia beauty, at the end.
Awesome.
So this is not my backyard. This is my dream backyard that I'm trying to, achieve one day. And but you can definitely get that free marketing planner at pepperitmarketing.com/CAVA. And also, I have a 10% discount for CAVA members. Just use the coupon code CAVA for any services or products or programs that I have. I'll be launching a new boot camp on email marketing and list building in late October. So if, for instance, you were interested in that coupon code will take 10% off of the program for you. And it's for any service, so it doesn't matter what it is. You just stick in CAVA and you get your 10%.
That is awesome. Thank you. I have only one question about the Nova Scotia picture.
Sure.
Where is my chair?
Your chair? It's in the lobster pot.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say. That's funny. Kathy, that was awesome. Thank you so much. And for any of you who know, Kathy or me or both of us, that we probably could have talked all day. I can't believe that we got in under an hour on this, to be honest. You gave so much information, as you always do. Kathy is she's a terrific teacher, but she's also a very generous teacher and gives you lots of information in plain English. I love it. So check out her stuff definitely at pepperitmarketing.com/CAVA and pick up that master list. Honestly, it really will help you to get organized for everything that you want to do with your social media and your list building, and absolutely will help you to start to see those numbers, all of your numbers go up, and hopefully bring you new clients as well. So I appreciate your great information, your awesome examples, everything that you do, and I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great.
All righty. We'll talk to you.
Have a great day.
Thanks. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.